Seconded by Dr. Che.
The 2026-2027 financial year is leaping at stake with 84.39 trillion or $13.5 billion at bay. Domestic revenue is expected to cover 44.18 trillion with 11.9 trillion from domestic borrowing and 11.27 trillion shillings from external project support.
We go into a debate.
On the note, over 400 billion shillings have been put to keep the Emyooga program alive, while the Parish Development Model has been allocated 2.5 trillion shillings for the next financial year 2026-2027.
We have put money under agro-industrialization. The program of agro-industrialization alone has over 2.2 trillion. We have put money under the manufacturing sector. And all these other enablers facilitate job creation.
The Ministry of Finance says with the available government projects to uplift the lives of Ugandans, they will be able to create more jobs for the next 5 years as they implement the National Development Plan too.
Look at the factories we had 3 years ago and the factories we have now. They are much more than the ones we had 3 years ago. What does that mean? It means also the jobs have increased. We have a goal as government to add at least 500,000 jobs per annum.
Meanwhile, government intends to collect over 44 trillion shillings in revenue the next financial year, however still grappling with the low tax base.
So GDP ratio, for a number of years, it has stagnated at 13%. But now in this budget, we expect a growth on tax to GDP ratio of about 0.9%. So that will take us to almost 15-16%.
Musasizi says they are putting in place everything to ensure better revenue collection, but also working on strengthening the tax administration.
Where we get gaps in the law, we strengthen. That's why, recently in Parliament, when we were passing the budget, the laws we introduced, the amendments in the tax laws, some of them were cleanups, administrative amendments.
Currently, Uganda's debt has risen to over 126 trillion shillings, and of this 54% is money borrowed domestically. Musasizi says that they borrowed to finance several government projects, and of recent, they can only borrow after due diligence has been done.
Look at our numbers, you will realize that the concessional windows of financing have in the past years been declining, and domestic borrowing has been rising. So domestic borrowing is slightly expensive compared to external. And also the external sources where we have been getting money now are largely commercial, external on commercial terms.
Musasizi adds that the debt is still manageable, but it is also a challenge. The Ministry of Finance is hopeful that the 84.39 trillion shillings budget is going to trigger the growth of the national economy. Jumakiria, NTV.